Put that up again. Put that view up again over there. I see our heads are in. No? Good.
That's good enough for now, I guess. Until tomorrow. Just having them go in manually. Extra brackets.
Is it going to work for them?
Yeah, it should work when they submit it. It's just I need to make sure that the brackets in the beginning and end of the time and all stuff.
No, I just know that that's one quarter, if there's any way of bringing it up. Then it's fine, let's go, whatever works best, and I'll work on it. Thanks. It's a little too late.
Anthony Trust, Matthew Lane, Matthew Upland, Morris Bridges. Alan Ray. I don't even want to try.
Alan Ray.
Alan Ray.
What's happening here? Photo ops?
You're gonna help me with your last name.
So this is our camera here.
Yeah. Mandarina. Yeah. I was one of the last people born. They call me Mr. Man. Yeah. Well, my first job was at a middle school, so it was like even harder for them. I'm in high school now, so it's like, just kind of stuck around. It's like, all right, just call me that, whatever. They don't mind. I don't mind.
That's because you call me all sorts of things.
So am I really gonna say Alan Ray?
There you go.
Last year I had a group of kids who called me Chandy.
You should be the Chandy Man.
One of the kids that did that, her name is Amanda, and she does not go by Mandy. So I always called her Mandy to get even. I still do. No, yeah, that's all. Mandy.
Hey, it works.
I had one student who all year long, first name is Greg, so they called me Greg all year long. I called him Mr. Williams, Mr. Wilson. Yes, Mr. Wilson.
I've never had that problem with my name. It's surprising. Well, not yet, anyway. I shouldn't have said anything until this will be the year.
It's funny is when they mistake, they call me by one of the other teachers' names. They do that for the three of us who all have gray hair. But Mr. Senior, I said, no, I may be senior, but I'm not Mr. Senior.
I want to be up front. I'll be always up front.
Hi there, how are you? Hi, I'm David. Nice to meet you. Hi, oh, thank you. Nice to meet you.
No, I was in So you're right. First time.
Yeah, that's what it's like.
Yeah, that's what
Yes, I did. I'll process.
Who else is we have?
This last year, first year, I didn't my daughter. Okay. Because my youngest, she said there, she called me up and I said, okay. I just said, I know, she tried, she like, can't skip, this is not going. You're out, there's something to watch. 12. She's fine. I think we got to year 11. But I do it on work just in my call. So I don't. We gotta get up there.
Oh, I haven't.
Finally, she was like, right, no.
Did you turn on webcaster?
I hit start broadcast.
I'm being broadcasted around the world, so be careful what you say.
Okay, I'd have worn a different suit. Welcome, everybody. It is my distinct pleasure. I should introduce myself. I'm Tom Mitchell. I'm the Dean of Faculty and Vice President for Academic Affairs. And it's my unique pleasure to welcome you to the graduation of the third graduation from Mobile Computer Science Principles and Mobile Apps for Hartford program. So let's have a quick round of applause for our graduates. I always do a little bit of history. This is project has been funded through a National Science Foundation grant that was sort of the brainchild of Ralph Morelli. So if we can have Ralph wave his hand and give him a little round of applause. But he did not do this alone. He's in collaboration with Chinma Uche. And where's Chinma? So let's give Chinma a nice round of applause. And I feel a special connection to this project. Ralph has invited me to each and every event, and I've always been humbled to be able to watch this grow and see how far it's gotten in just really 3 short years. So it was 2 years ago in August that we really sort of I got to introduce a project for Ralph at the first graduation, and we were speaking about the process of training teachers to educate our nation's youth in computer science through the use of mobile technology. And it was kind of brand new, and I know Ralph was a bit nervous, and the first set of teachers were nervous because they were going back to class again. And with technology as ubiquitous as it is now, the question was whether or not it would go back to the classroom well, or whether you'd end up being taught by your own students. And I think right now it ends up being a very great collaboration. But it's just been amazing for me to watch the growth of this program, sort of from the outside looking in, as everybody's done such hard work, and you know, really putting the power in the teachers' hands. We saw that 2 years ago in August, and it's as true today as it ever has, if not more so. And part of the other the other part of this project, it happens in May. You're getting your certificates. You're going to go back and do all the hard work during the academic year and teach your students. And then in May, they get to show off the projects that they've done. And for the last 2 years, the first and second annual mobile CSP Expos, we've had well over 30 students and projects each year, the culmination of the work that you've done during the summer and then going back into the classrooms. And to me, that's been the most amazing part, watching the thrill and just the intensity that you are able to project back to the students in all the different areas has been fascinating. I don't think I need to tell anybody the importance of CS education. You're 15 times more likely as a student to take an AP course in biology or calculus. This given the fact that 8 or 9 of the top 10 jobs over the next decade are going to require a fairly high level background in CS. And we're not getting our students what we need to get to them. And you're the start, really, of this tidal wave of changing that thinking across the United States and getting that computer science back into the high schools and hopefully even before as we go forward. But it's just amazing how much we can do in a very short period. The program here has gone from just Trinity College into Hartford, into the surrounding area, to national with the help of St. Scholastic on the online teaching. We've been able to educate close to 100 faculty online through this program, and that's just a wonderful thing as well. So not only are you representing your schools in the region, but you're representing the entire United States and really, hopefully, a global change in how we approach this type of education. So it's just amazing. I tell our students every year when they come to Trinity College that the way to be successful is to follow a few very simple steps. One is to seek passionate teachers. The other is to dive deeply into a research project. And the other is to take chances. And every time I look at the program as it's running here, you're obviously very passionate. You're giving up your summers to do this, although I would say you're probably the lucky ones. Working with Ralph and Chinma has to only be exciting. But you're definitely passionate about what it is you're doing, and that'll come back to your students. And diving deeply into a research project. I'm assuming none of you had taken a course like this before. And you're not just teaching, you're doing your scholarship. You're reaching out to students for them to do something that's never been done prior. And that is one of the best types of research projects of which I can think, one in which you involve the students at the highest possible levels of where you're teaching. So I know it's not easy to come into the summer and learn something that may be entirely foreign to you. I do know that Ralph tends to do a very good job getting people interested and excited, and I know from before that from this program that the teachers have gone back to that same level of excitement, and I have the same confidence in each and every one of you, and I'm very proud to have this program on our campus. I'm very proud to have it going through its 3rd year, and so to the 12 graduates of today, congratulations. We love having you on campus, and I have to say I'm going to love more watching you go out and spread this information to your own students. So thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. I'm Ralph Morelli. Together with Chinma Uche, we direct the mobile CSP project, which is in its 3rd year. So I'm going to give a little background. But before I do, I want to thank some people that have made this summer such a tremendous summer, and whatever success we enjoy is because of the people I'm going to thank right now. So first and foremost is Pauline Lake. Pauline Lake is our itinerant teaching consultant, I think is her official title, or maybe it's unofficial, but she goes into the schools and works with the teachers in the classroom on a weekly basis. So she'll visit almost all the teachers once every week or so. But she does so much more than that. I mean, I think the teachers will attest that, without Pauline, I'm not sure this summer would have run anywhere near as smoothly as it did. So thank you, Pauline. In addition to the teachers, this summer we had a 2nd year of the Mobile Apps for Hartford project. This year, unfortunately, the city's budget got cut drastically, and last year we had 20 students. We were able to fund 20 students who were funded out of the mayor's summer employment budget. This year we were only able to fund 6. but the 6 students are here and they're going to be presenting a little later, and you're going to be impressed, I'm sure, by the work they've done this summer. But I do want to thank the teachers and mentors that helped the students and worked with them every day for the last month, and that's Mr. Joe Kess from Wethersfield High School. And Joe was in our first cohort of mobile CSP teachers, so he'll be starting his 3rd year of teaching it at Wethersfield. And we also have Ken Thomas from Trinity College. Ken is a rising junior CS major, is that right? Yep. And we have Alan Johnson, Big Al. Okay, who was in the project last summer, and this summer he worked as a mentor helping the other teams work on their app. So thank you all. I mean, it's because of you that we've had such a nice summer. I want to give you a little bit of background about what you're about to see when the teachers begin presenting. So this course, this mobile computer science principles course, is a course that's going to be coming online in 2016 as an advanced placement course. The whole project has been started by the College Board with National Science Foundation funding. And it's an effort to broaden participation in computing. Tom mentioned how few students take the CSAP exam compared to, say, biology or math or chemistry or the other STEM subjects. But the problem goes even deeper than that, because so few of the students who do take it are girls or underrepresented minorities. So that's a real problem for the United States. So few people are taking it, and then only certain types of people are taking computer science. So this course is aimed at broadening participation. Because of that, it's quite different than other science AP courses. So for example, the main difference I want you to realize is that rather than a 3-hour exam that you would take in May to get your AP credit, this uses a portfolio approach, more like an art course in a sense. So only half of your AP grade, if you take the AP exam in the end, is based on a sit-down exam. The other half is based on performance tasks, okay, where there are 2 performance tasks required. One is a research project where you research a subject and write up a report on it. And the second is the performance task that you're going to see presented here today, which is you have to build some kind of computational artifact. And in our case, it's a mobile app, and you have to be able to explain it and describe it. So what the teachers have been through this summer is they've been through a 6-week accelerated version of the course that they're going to teach their students starting in the fall. In the fall, of course, it's going to run over a whole year. So we've really put these teachers through it in 6 weeks to compress. There's a lot of stuff in this course. But most challenging of all is it involves learning a programming language. You need a programming language in order to write mobile apps. So what you're going to be seeing is the amazing programs that they managed to design and write in their 6 weeks of work this summer. Okay, so I wanted you to have a sense of what you're looking at when you see these presentations. So let me just close by mentioning that. So as Tom said, this is the 3rd year. Actually, this is the final year of our official funding from the National Science Foundation. But because the CS Principles course is going to start in 2016, they've already been talking to us and other CSP projects about training more teachers next summer. So we don't know exactly what form that's going to take. I suspect what it's going to take is we're going to be asking these teachers to be our master teachers next summer and turn around and teach this to their colleagues in Connecticut and possibly outside of Connecticut as well. So even though this is the 3rd cohort, that it won't, I hope, be the last. Okay, so thank you all for coming, and now I'll turn it over to Chinma to make some welcoming remarks, and then we'll have our presentation. So thank you very much.
Hello, good afternoon. Yeah, I just want to thank you for being here. On behalf of the Connecticut Computer Science Teachers Association, we are privileged to really have Trinity College host this program for us. we have the CSTA, or Computer Science Teachers Association, has a mission of bringing computer science to all K-12 students, because we think that computer science is fueling innovation in all fields of learning, and that where we are in the world now, every student should have access to computer science education. And that hasn't been the case. So we've been advocating for this for a while, and we're lucky to have Professor Morelli and Trinity College supporting us in this effort. I just want to also use this time to recognize somebody who is here, who helped us co-sponsor a bill at the state, at the Education Committee. We have State Rep Jesse Rojas here. He's in the back. Please, can you welcome him to this session? So he co-sponsored a bill that now makes it, that's been signed by the governor into law, that says all our middle school students will have access to computer science education. That's really great for us, because every Connecticut student starting from July 2016 will now have access to computer science education. This is really great because computer science affects how we travel, how we communicate, the chances of us developing new medical tools and other things to affect diseases and things we don't even know yet. So we are really, really grateful that we have such people in Trinity College. He's also a staff of Trinity College supporting us. I'm not going to take too much of your time. I just want to congratulate you, the 12 teachers, for just being brave and doing this. Because often when we go to schools, people will say, oh, I can't do it. But you were able to dedicate 12 weeks of your time to study and to bring new learning to your students. So congratulations and thank you. And I also want to thank the students for their work. I think you can all help us advocate for computer science for all students in this state. There are tools, the tools are getting cheaper and it's free. Most of them are free to bring it to schools, but schools don't even know they are there. Some people are not listening. Some people, even when they know, they think it's difficult, but we can. It's really an equity issue. Which students should have access to this, which students shouldn't? So if we make it a point of saying, bring it, asking our primary schools, our middle school and our high school, give access to everyone, then we'll get to a level where every student in this state has access to computer science education. And that's really what we want. And we'll see what the students do with it. Thank you for being here. Thank you. And then again, we can't stop without saying thank you to Pauline. Pauline holds everything together. And Pauline is also the secretary of the Computer Science Teachers Association. So Pauline, thank you for everything you do for us. Thank you all for being here. I hope you just enjoy the wonderful presentations. Thanks very much.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Anthony Truss.
I'm Shannon Sarkar.
And I'm going to demonstrate our app that we built together. It's called...
Tell us what schools you're from.
Okay. I'm from Conard High School in West Hartford.
I'm from West Hill High School in Stamford.
And so we're going to demonstrate our financial tracker app, but prior to doing so, we're going to kind of, for the first presentation of today, just kind of give you an insight into what App Inventor looks like with the high-level programming language. So I'm going to just kind of display the report here.
Pauline just asked me to remind you that there's a booklet out and it's got the QR code so you can actually download and try out these apps either today as we're speaking or later on.
I'm not going to dive too deep technically into what you see here in terms of the programming language, because this is about the app. But every presentation that you're going to see following us, as well as us, we used the high-level programming language that you see over on the right on MIT App Inventor 2 platform. And it's a cloud-based platform where we develop icon-based programs that hide the syntax behind the scenes. So it basically takes the memorization of how the order of things should go, and it kind of breaks it down into a block system for students. So it's kind of an easy way to transition once you understand the concepts, and you can kind of move into the syntax-based programming language. So it's a drag and drop type of process. It follows the same programming structure as a written language. It's icon-based and visual. Okay, so we're going to demonstrate our financial tracker app. As you see here, it displays the purchase amount, and when you're about to enter in a piece of information after you purchase an item, you would press a combination of the various values, which would add up to your purchase amount. We're rounding, of course, and then you would select a category for that purchase. And once the category is purchased, you can take a picture of either the receipt or the item itself. And so for $25, Pauline provided us education. And when you hit save, what it's actually doing is it's putting the information into a database to be retrieved for future reference. And it also geolocates where that picture was taken. So if you take that picture in the, let's say the parking lot of Target, it's going to pinpoint obviously Target. And so for future reference, you can click Review Records, which you can cycle through the images that display date, price, and a category of which it belongs in. And we realize that there are tools like this that are out there today. This would be targeted more towards a younger audience that they don't have the resources such as a checking account and credit cards to give them summaries. And then we do have a summary tab that allows them to view the quantified information in a few different ways, such as a bar graph, the map that I just mentioned, and including the actual table as well. Did the map show up?
Oh.
And then this is the Google Maps that we're all familiar with, but you could pinch and pull and zoom in and see the locations. So as you can see, those are 2 locations that are in there for the purchases. If you were to touch those little dots, you'll see some information. Pull up entertainment, $46, July 30th, and the latitude and longitude. And that is our tracker app. So I think, does anybody have any questions about the application or how it functions or anything like that? Ralph?
If no one else has a question, I'll ask questions. How long did it take you to do that app?
We did it in about 2 class periods, or well, 2 days of development. The 3rd day was debugging. The 4th day was documentation. Working in tandem, Chandon and I. We have a lot of future ideas. If we had more time, we could enhance it where the user could add an additional category rather than if anything doesn't fit, just select other. So we would wanted to add that as well. And a couple other probably graphic user interface, but we wanted to focus on the programming side of it.
Who's hosting the database?
Google Fusion Tables is holding the most of the information, all the text-based. There's a programming limitation with the time that we were able to develop this app to figure out a workaround with the photos, so they're stored locally in the database on the device itself.
That was actually my question.
Okay, so we did have to split the information, but in a perfect world, you'd be able to just open this up on another app or another device and then see that information as well. It's all in one centralized location.
So one of the things that we learn in this course, in addition to MIT App Inventor, is how to use the Google Fusion Tables. And that basically, it looks like a spreadsheet to the average user on the web, but it has the ability to talk to Android applications, and also has all the security built in by Google. So it's a very powerful tool.
And it's free.
Do you think this project that you did gives you some sense of what your students are going to encounter in the course and how they'll respond to it?
Oh, absolutely. what we learned throughout the course. I came into this week 1 without using the block language, so to speak. I had a little bit of programming language experience, but not much. So I kind of have the feelings and the experience as if I were the student going through. And going into it week 1, where I am at week 6, I know that I'm, in terms of ability, much more able to do things than I was, let's say, week 1. And I could easily see that correlate straight into the student learning. It would empower them, and I could see that their creativity just runs wild. So I'm very excited to see the abilities of my students moving forward in the next year. Do you have any?
Well, I was a professional programmer for the better part of 10 years, and I actually walked away from this past 6 weeks just completely amazed at what this language can do, and just how much it's taken the syntax issues away from the beginner student. And I think it's going to really open up the whole world of programming for a lot of kids that wouldn't otherwise be willing to try it, especially younger kids that have traditionally not tried attempt a programming course before.
And I know syntax, even for myself, was always a challenge. And then jumping onto this was a breeze, and I was able to understand concepts with the exception of syntax, to understand the core foundation. So this definitely helped my education, and I can easily see that would help students as well. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Did you accept it? Because when she clicked on the permissions, did you accept it on your side?
Because we didn't have the Wi-Fi.
Then we might be able to get the here. Do you want to do it on my
We'll try using yours instead, so you can proceed to yours.
I'll see if I do it.
Because we have to see them.
I'll see who's down.
Hi, my name is Dana Kinnell. I teach at the Connecticut IB Academy in East Hartford.
And I'm Matthew Lane. I teach at Ellington High School.
Our app is called Easy Text. And I think just to mention one main thing about the program is that all the apps we develop have to be socially useful. So as kids are developing apps and as we've developed our apps, we've had to come up with something that would actually be useful to people. So in developing our app, we thought about what problem could we solve? And we thought about how traditional texting programs that are installed on your phone might be too complicated or might prohibit older people or people who aren't as familiar with technology from using a texting app. So we tried to simplify that so that the texting app, the contacts, and everything could be done within one screen. So that was where our Easy Text came from.
Right, so the idea behind it is it's an assistive technology app, so it makes it easier for people to communicate who might not be able to speak. It eliminates the use of extensive contacts list. It simplifies the process. Everything is in one screen, and we are giving people that have a difficulty speaking the ability to have a voice and be able to communicate with others by sending messages through a one-way transmission. So the idea is that we're in this room and I'm unable to speak. I can send either any of you a message, you'll receive the message, read it, and then be able to respond to us, so that way we can have the conversation, even though there might be a difficulty through that transmission.
So here are two examples of what the user interface looks like. As you can see, it's very simple. You have the area where you can add and delete contacts up at the top. You have your message typing area, which brings up the keyboard. And then all you have to do is select a contact and the message automatically gets sent. The way the contacts are stored are through a TinyDB or database and with a list component. And that allows you to store your contacts and edit your contacts without having to use the separate contacts app that's installed on the phone.
All right, so this page here is describing, so you put your name, your phone number in, you hit enter, and then you're able to send your message. And like I showed you, when you click on the address booklet, you have the list with all the numbers. So for this example, we just had John. if we go into this one, I added a big number for myself. And then when you click the back arrow and you hit the trash can, you're able to delete any contacts that come up. So on the tablet, you can see my contact here. If I click that, it'll be deleted. If there's nothing in the there's nothing in the contact list, it'll tell you that there's no contacts to delete, and vice versa, that you need to add a contact. So, and when you first start up the app, if there's no contacts already previously loaded from the database, the address book will not be enabled. So it won't let you be able to even bring up the list of contacts. You actually have to go in and add a contact first.
So this is just a little bit without getting too detailed. This is another example of what the App Inventor programming language looks like. And these are all the main functions that were used to build our app. And as you can see, it's pretty simple, or at least it seems simple after the 6 weeks of doing this class. And I think that's it, right?
Any questions?
Yes, Ralph?
Can you tell us a little bit about your own backgrounds, what you teach, and whether you're moving into something new here, or is this adding another computer science course to your repertoire, or how's it fit in?
Well, up until this upcoming school year, I was a full-time music teacher, so this is all very new to me, although I do have a little bit of a background in technology just from being interested in it myself. But this will be the first year that I'm teaching full-time. I'll have 2 sections of the mobile CSP class, and I'm excited to make that transition this year.
Now I'm a technology education teacher, and computer programming was one of the classes that I taught. So instead of teaching Python, I'll be doing the mobile CSP curriculum.
Yes?
Did you consider, I'm not sure if you tried it, but did you consider incorporating the speech recognizer to really, since it's for an old person, I don't think I would like to type.
I guess in conceiving of this problem, I kind of came up with the idea that, thinking about my grandmother who has a lung disease where it's really difficult for her to speak. So I thought of this as a way, it's hard for her to speak on the phone or call somebody or even sometimes just have a conversation. So, I mean, we could definitely add that capability for people who may want to use that to kind of make it more useful to more people, I guess. But we were kind of thinking of a really specific problem in the development. Anybody else?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Hi, I'm Michelle Murphy, and I'm a technology education teacher at East Lyme High School in East Lyme, Connecticut. And I'm here with my partner.
Sorry, I'm just going to set up.
Scott.
Scott Kaminsky from Trumbull High School, down in Trumbull.
And our app is called Shopping List, and Shopping List is an efficiency app. It's an app that you can use with your family and your friends to help you build a shopping list. And when you're driving home from work, you don't even have to look at your phone, or you don't look at your tablet because it's working for you behind the scenes, taking all those orders from your friends and your family. So we're going to go ahead and demonstrate a few of our features here. Our app is it's very easy to add an item. And you just type your item in, and it's going to add it right to the list. And to remove an item, just as easy. So we're demonstrating some of the features here where you could actually be using the app, but we also have quite a bit happening behind the scenes. And Scott's going to tell you a little bit about that.
I'm just going to generate the list a little bit more.
Okay.
Soda.
So one of the things that I really liked about this app is that it gives you the capability to actually create like a group list or a private shared list with the people that you know by entering their phone numbers. And I was thinking that, you know, that is really a special capability because you want to be able to have information that you want to just share with your friends and family, but you don't want to have to go to all sorts of different apps to do that. And so this would be something that's really useful for me because I get a lot of special orders as I'm driving home. And I definitely don't want to have to pick up the phone.
So I just added another one on the screen on the left with number 7, the napkins, and it didn't update the one on the right. I didn't enter any phone numbers in yet, so that's why it didn't update. Now, if we're in separate buildings and I didn't know that someone updated it, I could just hit the update button and it'll still do that. But part of the issue that we would run into, let's say that I was actually shopping, and this is actually the second part of the functionality here. Once we have a list set up and you actually hit the shopping button, now you have a list here that you scroll through with everything that you put in there. And when you select one of the items, let's say the bread, you just bought it. Now it deletes it from it, so you just go down the list as you go through, and it gets rid of it, everything for you. If for some reason they don't have those items, you stop, hit done, it goes back, your list is down to the same 2 that you were left with over here. Or if you finish it up, it says it's empty again. Now notice nothing happened on the right. Well, if I hit update, now it'll update it to empty. But part of the issue is if I'm shopping, I'm looking at that scrolling list, how do I know that someone else in our group isn't adding things that we forgot to put on there? So that's why we came up with the idea to add a texting component. So if someone is actually shopping, when someone else adds something, we're also going to get a text message alerting us, oh, the list has been updated, so now I know to go and update the list. And so here, yeah, you can put in that. Okay. She'll show you how to go through putting in the numbers. And we were also thinking about the idea of when the device received the text message to have the list update automatically. But you run into the issue if someone is just texting you that's in your group just to say something and nothing to do with the shopping list, it'll automatically update it. So we stayed off that. Maybe that's something we can mess with afterwards, but it seemed like it was a little bit more helpful if we just had it as a so add some items down. And we have it running in the foreground as well. So the other people in your group aren't bombarded with messages if you don't even have the app up. So it's just going to work. So it says the message was sent. And this is going through Google Voice, which we've had a few hiccups with. So that was an email that was received. Oh, no, it does show it as a text. OK, well, either way. So open up the app on the other one. Right in the middle. So you have the updated list. So if you're shopping on one of them, cool. All right, so shop on one of them. There you go. So wait a lot. And now send something added from the other one. So if the person on the left is shopping and then someone adds it at a different location, on the device on the left, you got a text message, and the message actually said the shopping list was updated with a timestamp as well. So you also know how current it is, because if you have a backlog of messages you haven't checked, then you know whether it was yesterday or today or whatever. So that tells the person to go to the other side and update the list.
Spam.
There you go. So it's always working on both at the same time. And last feature, yes. Let's say I'm from Trumbull. I don't really know this area very well, and my wife tells me to pick up something on the way. I don't know where I am. I don't know where stores are. We added a little feature just to search Google Maps based on what type of store you want. So grocery stores nearby, and obviously you could click on whichever one you want, and then you can go through the directions if you need to. Or you could search Google Maps just like any other thing, search for a certain store if you would like. So we added that feature as a way to help people if they're not where they normally are, so they don't know how to get to a certain spot. And anything else? Any questions? Yes, question.
I just have a comment. I think this is great. And I can see it being very useful, especially in a family of 5. My only critique would be to make your sad face a happy face next to empty.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Thank
you. Thank you. Another question, yes.
You showed how to add different numbers to keep people in line or on the listing. Is that easy to remove as well? So say you're going on vacation with the family, you add everybody in, but now do you just create a new group, or can you just?
We didn't get too far with that part of it, but we also figured if you're going to add like your core people that like a family of 5, you're not going to be updating that very much. So we left the remove feature out for the users. And if you did want to clear it out, everything is stored on a web server, stored space for us. So you would have to go in there, just clear that out, and then you could add in new people. Or I mean, if a number changes, then there's no harm in, well, I guess if someone else gets that number you had, then. So there is a way to clear it out, but it's not on the actual app itself, thinking that your group is going to be pretty much the same for a longer period of time than day-to-day type things. Yes, question?
Is there a way to bring your list back up again, so once you go through it once, you usually get the same bread, eggs, and such each week?
No, we did not
Consistent.
do that. Michelle
Yeah.
actually brought that up too. Like we had a button that had the most common items to just add there all the time. But then if you don't put it in that, then you're limited because it's not in there. So that's something that we could, if we had more time, possibly look into saving it so that you could always bring up the favorite items that you get pretty much weekly or whatever. Yes.
Great job, guys. Can you also tell us what you teach and
oh, sorry. I'm a math teacher at Trumbull High School, and I've been interested in technology, but haven't really taught anything. So this was new to me. I did a little job, I think it was, in college. So had the concepts of it, but this is brand new to me. So it was a very enjoyable experience.
Michelle?
Yeah, I teach technology education at East Lyme High School. And I did work in industry. I worked in telecommunications billing.
Thank you. Can you put up a little higher? There you go. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Christopher Kerr. I teach at Newington High School.
And my name is Allington Chapko. I teach at Maloney High School in Meriden.
We're very excited to introduce to you guys the newest positive behavior intervention system called Scholar Dollars. Scholar Dollars is a multi-app interface which involves around creating 2 apps. The first is a teacher app, which is displayed on your left, and the next is a student app displayed on your right. This is a really interesting situation. You get to establish points for your school system. Perhaps it's just a myopic thing you're going to use for your classroom. You can create points and have your students purchase things. You can award points, or perhaps it's a school-wide initiative. Everyone has points. So we'd like to walk you through how some of this stuff works. First and foremost, Alan is going to sign on to the Scholar Dollars student interface. He's going to create a new username.
So
go ahead.
For example, so if you don't have an account yet, all you have to do is press login, and it will take you to this screen where you have to set up your new account. Oh, it's.
I pre-populated something.
Okay, I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, sorry.
So this is like, of course, every student has his student ID. So for example, my lunch number, you're used to student ID is 96541. I don't know.
You got to remember that now.
Yes,
96541. 96541, guys.
And I have to set up my password. Say me.
Good password. Very secure. We're proud of that.
Sometimes the simplest ones are the hardest.
Absolutely.
And I'll hit submit. So my account has been created. Now I can sign in, and I'll sign in 96541.
That's
And my password is, let me try to put a wrong password first to make sure that we're not cheating the system. I'll put in, I put 2 dots. You don't know what I did. Incorrect password, please try again. So now I'll try to now put in the correct one and log in. And as you can see, since I'm a new student, I have no points yet.
So this interface is showing you a couple different things. Make that nice and straight again. It's showing your current balance. It's giving you an opportunity to make a purchase, which is the next step that we're going to do. And it also, you'll see there's a QR code that is created. Now, this is a dynamic QR code. This is your student ID. This is created dynamically over the internet. So we don't have a library of QR codes. Oh, no, they are created ad hoc. So that will be useful later. But let's make a purchase. Let's make a purchase.
Okay. So, for example, you're going to make a purchase. But now, in order to make a purchase, of course, you have to approach the teacher or whoever is responsible for you to use this point. So I have here, Principal Q-Man here has, you can buy a pencil from Principal Q-Man for $2. So now, from the student, you'll press the scan your purchase, scan the QR code. Hopefully I can see it.
There you go. And again, the storefront QR codes randomly generated. No library of QR codes.
You have 0 balance.
Once again. So what's the next step, guys? I guess we have to, as a teacher, award some points to the student. Perhaps they had done something well in the class and want to, positively intervene there, or they were really good in the hallway. They picked up something that they dropped. Let's give them some points. Now, as a teacher, I don't know my students' names. I don't know their numbers. They pass through like breezes in the wind. So we have that QR code in the student ID set up, and we're going to use that to inform the teacher app what the QR code is, or what their student ID is.
If it lets me.
There we go. As you can see, 96541 has been populated in the student ID field. And the final thing is, how many scholar dollars are we going to provide that student? How generous do we feel today?
I'll follow Chandan.
Oh, no.
1 million.
That's a very generous person.
I may not live to have this much anyway, so might as well do it now.
Now this part's really cool, guys. I think you're gonna love this.
So I'll give student 96541 $1 million.
Check out the student side. Oh my gosh. How cool is that, guys? Let's make a purchase.
So now, since student 96541 has $1 million, he can now even buy a homework pass for $20. So let's scan that.
Does that mean you don't have to do your homework?
That student in perpetuity.
Yes, that means you don't have to do your homework.
No. Now look at this. We're going to confirm. Hey, did you want to purchase this thing? Yes or no? Now, of course, we want to purchase that hall pass. So let's purchase the hall pass. Fusion table processes, and it will update our balance. 9,900,000 something.
999,980.
Yes, thank you. So the final thing that you can do on the student side is you can review your purchase history. And we happen to have that on the bottom of the button. And if you scroll down, there you go. You can see the deposit by Principal Mann, and you can see your withdrawal from the homework pass. So this is a really great way of introducing students to the idea of a checks and balance, so they can balance their scholar dollars checkbook. Beyond that, there are a couple teacher functionalities which we didn't get into. You can see the store store has 2 items available, but perhaps there's a couple more things we can do.
Yeah, by the way, of course, if you are a new teacher signing in here, the thing here, what we're doing is when the app loads, you have to pick which teacher you are from this. So this list is generated from, it's stored somewhere on the web. So if we're going to use this in a school setting, some administrator will have the list and he can modify whenever maybe a new faculty is introduced. So I'm Mr. Tanchiatco. So if I pick my Mr. Tanchiatco, the thing with this is, of course, most of the time this device will be my device. So if I close the app and I open it again, since I'm the last one who used it, it's still Mr. Tanchiatco right away. So there's persistence there that we wanted to implement. Now you will see as well that there's just 3 choices on my menu: cancel, add an item, remove an item. because I didn't decide yet on what rewards I want to sell my students. So if I try to remove an item right now, I don't have any, I haven't added anything yet. So I have to add an item. So if I add an item, this one will show up and I have to describe what I want. Maybe skip the day. No. Paper. I don't know why you want to buy paper, but
They just take out
paper for $1. There we go. I'll add. So now, as a teacher, do I really want to add paper for $1? And I hit yes. So now you'll see that the menu now paper shows up, and if I press paper, again a QR code will be generated that the student can scan to make that purchase. And if of course maybe at some point in time you don't want to sell this anymore as a teacher, so you'll have to remove that. You have to, by the way, the default ones you cannot remove them. The cancel, add an item, remove an item, you cannot delete them because they're built in like functions pretty much. So I can only delete paper. And do I really want to remove that reward? Yes. And you see that it goes back to the original as if nothing happened.
So there you go. Scholar Dollar is a scalable, online-enabled application suite created by MIT App Inventor and 2 teachers in an 11-hour effort. In our sales pitch, Scholar Dollars, because intrinsic motivation is overrated. Thank you. Questions?
Do you have an unlimited amount of dollars to award and kids to earn as well?
In phase 2, we would include some sort of limitation system.
But right now, you could.
Absolutely.
I mean, right now, the teacher app is rooted in, I would say, trust, because actually, like picking the teacher itself, you can choose someone else. But you know what? I debated on putting a password or not, and then I said, you know, I already have email password, I already have Bloomboard password, I already have a computer password, Power Teacher password. Do I want another password? So no. So it's on trust. So.
Yeah, how are you generating the QR codes? That's pretty neat.
Well, there is a function through Google that you can generate a QR code by passing a URL plus a custom string. That custom string is either the student ID or the product itself with a pipe delimiter for the cost.
So it's on the cloud.
Please.
Is there a limit to the amount of items a teacher can have on their list of items to sell?
Conceptually, no.
No.
It's up to hardware. Go ahead.
Say you gave somebody $1 million and you didn't mean to. Can you put in a negative?
Yes, we can do that. So let's take away from student. Actually, like for here, if you know how the student ID, you don't really have to scan it. So I know 96541. So I did not mean to give. Say I'm more than next. So I'll put negative 9999. So I'll leave him with $80.
That's a negative behavior intervention system. Clearly now you can see my balance is far less. Yes. Any other questions? All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm Larry Bojarski. I teach at South Windsor High School. I'm a math teacher. Next year I'll be teaching this course as well as math and civics and economics.
Matt Epler, also at South Windsor High School. I'll be teaching along with Larry. We'll have separate classes, but this is, as you asked questions earlier about how are the kids doing this for the first time, this is the absolute first time in any way that I've had this much experience with computers and learned a great deal. But you can see along the way, when you get a nice little thing to work, Pauline has seen it numerous times, I made the screen change from blue to green was a highlight for me. So learning how to do all this over 6 weeks was strenuous at times, a big struggle at times, but a great deal of effort and joy came at the end, especially when we finally made something that we did ourselves. So we'll start and show you some of this about it.
We became the poster children for Now students will feel frustration, screaming, running out of the room. But we survived this. What we wanted to do is develop a quiz app that students can use to review a topic for a test. We built this on a web-based database so that it would be easy to add additional questions or additional categories. We started out with 2 categories, algebra and geometry, and recognized as we did it that we could add more categories. We could make a mobile CSP category and have our students practice questions on this as well.
The fact is, for those who really need to know, it's a tiny web DB that we learned. Nothing is stored on the tablet. It's all stored somewhere else. So we could then have, Larry could put in a different quiz, I could put in a different quiz, somebody else could put in a different quiz in a certain setup somewhere else, and they can just pull it up and do it. You want to start clicking away. We'll show you what they do, interacting with it. They do have to press the button. Once they do that, they get to pick and select from what type. Right now, we just have an algebra one and a geometry one. Pressing it again, you go in, and now you've got multiple choice questions you can do. If they get it wrong, so we know everybody knew the correct answer for all their high school math. But if you get it wrong, it does say not quite, try again, and then you're allowed to make another selection. So you're just reading that. Greater than now tells you great, correct, and now you have the ability to move on to the next question. It doesn't happen until you've answered it correctly, otherwise you keep going through. So there are, and right now I've listed it, so there's 5 questions of each. Once you've gone through the 5 questions of each one, great job moving through, provide you to the next one along the way. Once you get to that 5th question, we'll now get, there we go, a little bit of a test. Goes right back to the main screen again, so allows them to then obviously switch off to another user, go do a different quiz, or just revert back to what they've had before. So again, things that we would like to do with this, have the ability to add in additional quizzes along the way. And now that was where, for us, learning through some of this, debugging this process was huge for us, because we found a single bracket, a single comma in the wrong spot that you can't see in a list of numbers and letters and everything else was extremely aggravating. But being able to work through it and find the ways, learning really the ways to debug that correctly was eye-opening for both Larry and I. So that was our deal. Any questions you have? Yes.
So if you wanted to add more questions, you as the designer, just go on the tiny web DB, add the questions.
Yes.
And so how does the app know how many categories are up there?
In the list, that's a list picker that's doing, so you would add that to the tag. We have a tag somewhere else on there, South Windsor High School quizzes, and right now in that tag there's only Algebra 1, Geometry 1, 101. If you added another one, we just have to keep renaming that or setting it to that tag so it would know, hey, pull another one, and a third one.
So the user wouldn't have to do anything.
The user ability is almost none. Everything else is behind the scenes. That's all working. Probably going to quickly see what the tiny web. Yes. So if you slide down, here's the sample. There's the geometry question, and sitting there, if you look, yeah, it's got a lot of brackets, opening, beginning, and everything else, and the commas along the way. And as we found out, one tiny comma in the middle of that threw our program off for quite a while, even though we both stared at it numerous times and said, it's got to be correct. And it was actually this little guy right there. One tiny comma. But yeah, once you create the questions, we have areas that we could add. We had a blank one at the end, so we could add hints.
Show them the high school tab. And the South Windsor High School.
Usually on the top.
Isn't that further down?
It's right here.
There it is.
So they're found in that tag. There's just the 2. And again, you can add a third, add a fourth, keep adding as many as you want. You could even add some of those other, horrible classes like English, music, and others. But we wanted to keep it mathematics. But again, for the user, very easy to do. It's portable. They can do it on any tablet. We did want it with our understanding, getting better of it, be able to add in a name, be able to keep track of the score, house some of these answers also back to the tiny web, so you can keep track of in the classroom what's the high score, how many people have got this, etc. Along the way. Yes.
So you described well some of the frustration that can result in trying to code anything, right, including App Inventor, which is pretty easy compared to other languages. How do you think it's going to work with your students? And do you think you'll be, well, what will your strategy be if they run into some of the blocks you have?
Yeah, Matt and I had talked about that, how we've gained this understanding of the frustration students feel sometimes, and probably be a little bit more sensitive to that. So, I mean, we can share, there is no dumb question. I mean, if there were, we've already used them up. So,
hopefully it happens on the Pauline day. That was a big one. But even with her, and again, her helping us, there were times she's there watching over, and it was just us talking it through and working it out and finding it. But it was a big eye opener in terms of, all right, you can work with others, and you're going to have to work with others to do this.
So you think telling that to your students, you're going to have to figure this out and work through the problems? Here's some ideas on how to debug it.
Ideas how to debug it, things that you're looking through, and again, basing it off stuff that we saw in class and what we learned. Remember, we learned this in a previous type of thing, project. What can we take from that to use on this? It's not so much, hey, you're on your own, go do it, because that wasn't how well we did. So, but collaboratively, it really helped. The others? Yes.
How did it feel when you got something debugged correctly and it worked?
There was a little bit of yelling. Yes. You guys heard it. You were in the class. But yeah, when you found, or it was very aggravating, like that was the reason. It was a comma. But yeah, it's invigorating to see finally. All right, I did get the right one, or even the code, which is gone now. But I mean, you heard a lot. Some of it, ex-programmers, and Larry and I have absolutely zero computer knowledge. Right? Well, you may have some. I have absolutely zero computer knowledge. I like computers, and so I was put into this. But to be able to now use that language and know, all right, to think my way through, not nearly as well as I'd like to, but to start with it of this is what I want it to do, and these are the buttons that I need to press and to get there, and I know I need this, and that has helped because I know I can help the kids when we get there. Hey, what else can we do with this? We want this button there. You know you need a step that you want in there, and just to be able to move forward and do it. So that's been good for us. But it's been slow. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I did grades. Go back to grades.
Okay, so those grades, those were good. That's what's fun.
It's already there.
That's fun. Did you ever do? Yeah, you did that. No, we didn't have the server there. Okay. Is there anything there? Or can I just go into my account? This is awesome. Yeah, no, we can just wait too. You know what's gonna happen?
Where we don't do that because Google is broadcasting a Hangout right now, and I hope that it does not disconnect.
Shoot.
It adds it.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, why don't we just, we don't need the whole slideshow. It's just the, no one really needs to see the blocks. That's really all it is. So we'll just keep it as yours sometime. Let's talk about it.
Okay, yeah, so here is our app. I'm sorry, let me
What's your name?
My name is Phil Mandersina. I'm a math teacher at Platt High School in Meriden.
And I'm Greg Chandler. I'm a math teacher at Enfield High School in Enfield.
And well, this is our application. Is there anything else?
It's a riddle in which we have to order numbers. It's a very good math program, we believe, for students who, at various different levels, whether they need remediation or they're just learning it for the first time, in which they are given a set of numbers and they have to put it in a certain order. So if you want, can you just press start right now to at least load this up? If nothing is checked off, it'll give you just plain numbers between 1 and 10. It'll be nice and simple, nice little first grade activity. And we got rid of, can we press view riddle again if you want to change it? Oops, sorry. And if you want, there are checkboxes at the bottom when you click to do a new riddle that give you the options of negative numbers, fractions, square roots, and you can always modify it later. So you can load it up in which you are not only just doing whole numbers, but you are also doing negatives. And now you were having to fit, where does 70/9 fit in between all these other numbers and the square root of 40. So it can be very complex, something for much more advanced students. And then from there, it's basically just ordering it, trying to put just dragging these sprites to where they belong in the list. And let's see if we can get this correct for the first time, because even I'm not sure exactly what all these are. And I do. So now, let's see, did we get it right? We click check. Oh. And okay. So these four, it's ordered from the first. It's ordered so that the lowest number goes on the left and the highest number on the right, obviously. But it only checks to see that numbers are in between. So there might actually be a number between the two of the numbers if it's behind. So let's see if this works. So let's see if we arrange those two. Oop. That's never happened before.
That's never happened before.
You hit the wrong button.
I hit the wrong button. I definitely
So try it again.
Oh, try it.
Let's just do it with these.
I can handle these. I don't know where these go.
We have a problem here. There's something wrong.
Yes, I do teach math.
So as you saw, when you get something wrong, it'll move the incorrect items down, so you can try again. You can keep trying until you get it all correct. And then when you
now notice we have a riddle at the very top. Says, what did the math teacher Hunter? What did the math Hunter hope to do? Well, first let's see if we got these in the right order.
You got it. Hit reveal to see answer to riddle.
Hey.
Okay, and we're good. And then the reveal button opens up. And what did the math hunter hope to do? Trapezoid. Yeah, it's very.
We want more. We want more.
Do it again. And the riddle's not based on the. So let's try again. We'll do just square roots maybe, and it'll throw in some square roots. So we'll start this. What did the man at the beach become? And so a lot of this, some of the same numbers. Let's see, where do these things go? Square root of 8. Yeah, 4. What's square root of 24 simplify down to?
That's the 5.
It's less than 5.
What did it do?
So is that it? Let's see. Check.
No, this one's wrong.
40 and 7? Oh yeah. Because square root 7 is square root 49, so that's short.
You got it.
There we
Hit
go.
reveal to see answer to riddle.
So what did the man at the beach become? Tangents. They're terrible. They're terrible.
You guys have seen math worksheets. They all have jokes like this.
Not what?
Signburn.
Signburn. I like it.
You want to show them what it does wrong?
No. Well, it still has a few bugs because when you're clicking on a certain sprite, we have fixes that if you put a sprite over another one, it will fix those two. But if you have too many sprites going over at the same time, you can show them, they will collect, and then they will be basically stuck because you'll be touching one sprite, but it'll think you're touching all the sprites at the same time. So you're then moving all the sprites at the exact same time. So. Yeah, like so, and then it starts to disappear, and then you have to sort of reset. So it's still a work in progress, and it took a lot of time to just get to the point where we could fix what we had. But it's still needs some work, but it does what it's supposed to do right now. And again, a lot of frustrations. So, is there anything else we need to go?
Oh, you got it.
Yes. What do you call this? Compare it? Polygon. Yeah. Okay, so is there anything else we need to go over on this? I think that's.
Questions?
Any questions?
This is for all the teachers. Will this program help you teach other classes that you have other than computer science?
Definitely, because I also teach statistics, so there's a lot of stuff that we did in terms of data and big data that is definitely going to be in my statistics class next year.
And I believe that with a lot of initiatives, especially in schools, is a desire to talk about critical thinking and problem solving. And if there's one thing that computer programming does, it creates a lot of problems for you to solve. And the thing that I love and I hate, and anyone who's ever done computer programming at any level can agree, when you fix one thing, you tend to break another like 3 other things. And it's playing a game of whack-a-mole of, okay, this works, but now this doesn't work. I got this to work, now this doesn't work. And then eventually you get to the point where it's an actual full running program. But it's fun, it's frustrating, but when you're actually done, it's one of those really, you develop something, you create something that is your own making, and it's really very fulfilling.
As simple as this looks to use, it really tests your perseverance, because we had a great algorithm for choosing the numbers that they were going to use, and we always ended up with one fewer number than we were supposed to have. And we spent hours trying to figure out how to fix that, and then ended up just saying, oh, forget it, let's do it a different way.
And we spent probably like 2-3 hours trying to troubleshoot one algorithm, and then we just said, all right, forget it. We started from scratch, made it do something very simple, and then built that until finally we were like, okay, finally, another 3 hours later, finally it works.
So yeah, you hit on an important point. Perseverance is a key to programming well, probably a key to learning well in almost any subject, right? Do you think the course or the App Inventor part of the course will encourage students to do that or frustrate them, or what do you think about that?
I think it's, in my opinion, thankfully having taken the course from my point of view, it brings me to something that I'm going to tell kids is try to find a good point. Don't get, I know it sounds bad, but don't be too ambitious. Don't try to make the next Halo video game on your first app. Do something that's simple and then build upon it. Our app that we did before this, we were able to do the main part of it in about 3 or 4 hours, but we still had another 3 or 4 hours left. So we could have called it quits, but we had something that worked, and then we just kept developing it and building into something more and building into something more. And that's more what I think I'll tell my students. Have a basic core idea, something that you can do in the limit of time, and then once you've done that, then make it something more crazy, more special, make it your own.
Also in terms of problem solving, one really good problem solving strategy is to try to solve a simpler problem.
Yep.
So one of the things that we did, because this program got so complicated, there's so many blocks to it, is that when I was trying to figure out how to just sort one list into another one, I just wrote a separate app just to do that, threw some random numbers, or not really random, but picked numbers, threw them into it, and said, okay, try it on this. Said, hey, it worked. Okay, now I can do the same thing in this big, complicated program.
Thank you.
If I could just quickly answer Alan's and some of the other teachers. One of ours, like the math quiz, to be able to have kids develop that in class, and since I'm a math teacher, hey, my computer science class has developed this. You guys want to use it in the other class and see, hand these out to the kids. They send me the reviewing for math if you want, but it's built by the kids in the other class, and suddenly there's a correlation between the two. Saying, hey, we built something there. There's ownership of it. Maybe that's a better hook to get them to like it and do it for both of them.
Well, pretty impressive, huh? Let's give our teachers a round of applause. I want to add my thanks to the teachers for, giving up 6 weeks of their summer to do this. And I think the dean said it well, that you're doing something that takes a good bit of courage and risk on your part. Moving into something, in some cases, so new. From like music to computer science, and that's a pretty big step. And even math to computer science, if you haven't had any, computer programming background, is a big step. So we realize that, and we want you to know we appreciate that you're willing to be sort of on the bleeding edge of this project this year and going forward. So thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you again for joining us. Another reminder that the purple booklet that was in the back has the descriptions of all the apps that you've just seen today and the barcodes, so you can take them with you and try them out. A special thank you to the teachers for doing this and committing 6 weeks of your summer to doing this. Having been the third year of doing this, we've definitely had a journey through this as a team and seeing the development of mobile CSP. But one thing that has always been great is to start the year off with a new group of teachers, people we don't know who they are in most cases. And it's always fun to see the development and the relationships that build together. I'm looking forward to working with all of you in the classroom and throughout the next year and hopefully beyond. And just know again that I'm always there. If you need something, shoot me an email, phone call, anything. Okay. So to conclude our mobile CSP presentations, we would like to give you a certificate for your participation and hard work and dedication for the last 6 weeks. So we're going to call you up one by one, give you your certificates, and then we're going to do a group photo. And then after that, for all of those who are here, we're going to do a brief intermission and begin our Mobile Apps for Hartford program. So, you want me to okay. First up is Lawrence Bojarski. Next up, Gregory Chandler.
Greg.
Matthew Eckler. Scott Kaminsky. Christopher Kerr. Dana Kennel. Matthew Lane. No, you're not going to say it. It is. Philip Mancina.
Andrew.
Michelle Murphy. Shannon Sarkar. He told me just to say Alan Ray, but I'm going to try it. Alan Ray Chanchatko. And last but not least, Anthony Truss.
Yeah.
All right, so
put the group together?
Yeah,
Yeah, let's try it out of the projection light. We'll all come this way. We'll use this space here. Sure, folks are going to use this. We'll go up the step or two. Our tallest people will stay right down here. Let people know.
So we are going to take a group photo. We're going to take a little intermission. There are light refreshments in the hallway there, so feel free to help yourselves to a nice little snack and a drink.
Who's gonna join us? Ralph, you're gonna be part of the way. All right. So as we're doing that, why don't we, hold up our time to the back, we're just kind of getting close. Yeah. I want to make sure I get you over that little bit there, yeah. That's good. Okay, well, we'll get a shot here, then we're still waiting on some graduates, or do we have everybody? Okay, well, this is good here. Everybody stand up nice and tall, come on, get excited for it, yeah? Just like this. Good, we're gonna go one more, I'm coming up, this one will be. Good, now hold them up like we're really excited, come on, here we go. One, oh yeah, everybody, hold them right up. 1, 2, 3, woo, come on, do that a little extra. That's it. Good, and you gonna come join us? Yeah.
There's Val.
Good. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, Rob, come on.
I'm always in the back.
Showing the up and down or standing on the side.
So you can actually.
Maybe right in there, Stu. All right, everybody go. I kind of like that. I think it fits a little better.
So you guys go
Yeah,
first.
that's perfect, just like that. Everybody, let's make this the best shot.
Oh, I
Hands
just-
all, eyes are opening, this smiles. Here we go, and hold up those little flags for me. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Got it. Great job.
Thank you.
Well done, folks. Very well.
Now we get one.
Now you come and get snack, man.
Darn it. I can add one in.
All right. Oh my God. Yes. Oh God. I'm dying. Yeah. Well, my principal actually came. Did you see him? Yeah, that's good.
You know, I'm just thinking, you guys are working in teams.
I'm glad to see that you have that support.
We're charging before we start.
Where are these?
Sorry, I just saw you.
Larry, we're gonna take a picture together. Especially since you and I are taking a picture together.
Yeah, let's come over here, we're gonna come back. Should do that or just arm on the shoulder? Just get them on the shoulder. Lean towards each other. One more, nice smile. 1, 2, 3. Good.
That's actually what they eat.
Yeah. Just get you in close, like you're doing here. Good, one more. Perfect. Thank you. Nice and close. Like that. Maybe you're pointing at it. Show some. Yeah, here we go. Good.
Sounds like you were metering it.
Yeah.
Well, we have this school like smart codes. Like if you get rid of one, like remember some form of currency. So I feel like I suggest we can get rid of well, it wasn't our first choice. We make do what we can. The others that we are on that can be on this beyond, at least for me.
Yeah.
I'm really like maybe a feature thing that we do with it is like you can text a hub. Yeah, no, but that one's like it's what I'm saying is instead of using the app to like add an item, you can text the hub.
And you can control and charge you. We debated it, so like you could talk to them anyway, or text them anyway. And the whole point of that was to be really just not to be text messaging out of this, you know, like, so we want to keep it based on any game. We want to focus on just functioning. Yeah, that's possible.
It would be like 80. Someone's in charge of the groceries every week. Like everyone gets like stuck putting stuff in.
Yeah. One battery.
It's their version of you don't take it unless you take it.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't want to do the go for it. Yeah, this one, the one I'm looking at also had a new feature, the walk along. Oh, the one you draw on the map, you draw. Yeah. What is it? Yeah. Okay. There was another one, DNA photo, still to come out as pre-sale. This one had a larger viewfinder. I guess you can still intercept it and take a little control over it. The whole thing is, is it worth spending the money now? But I figured maybe some of my clients.
Just go through
They already paid for the service. Oh, it was wonderful. They put it to music, and smoothed all over the campus.
All right, I didn't quite understand that.
Just did a great job. Yeah.
One thing it's
Oh, wow, that's my concern. Attached to it, so I'm afraid for that. You show up without knowing. I understand. Even like I was thinking, I took up a lot of runners. And, you know, I'm tired of shooting that same shot off the line. But that may be a
So, yeah.
it's ours. Yeah. Yeah. But if it's 30, 40 feet, you can.
So maybe I'll
I see, I never even thought about that.
They were
Yeah. Sure. You're all ready to rescue. Just pay attention. Oh, we're so much. Yeah, I know. Media is doing a good job of doing that. Yeah, I know. I think it's so Caribbean to go there. Awesome. I know, traveling with it. You know,
Lithium batteries are playing. That's it. I know. It's fun, but we're not there yet. Yeah, yeah, you're right. I was just thinking, potentially bring it to the videotape to the library class or something. Yeah. I did one job in New York City like 2 months ago. Basically, I just have to all my mind. They are phenomenal. I mean, and you can get them anywhere from.
So cool stuff.
Or even less, but wow. They're pretty easy to buy.
Yeah.
The thing I don't like about it is
Nothing less than to appreciate it for block space. Oh, yeah.
sure. So I'm talking to some of the hobbyists. You do a calibration. You launch it so that if you can go home, so if you get to do that step, you're gonna go to the left foot. It was 5 yeah. And these are the course every one that are speaking. I have to remember. I just said the worst idea. I said syntax opposed to the one that I was looking at sounds like battery go low or lose the GPS signal return. That's the way I took it. That makes a lot more sense. Yeah. Each one, like everything, they improve. Yeah. I got my eye on that 5. Now, are you guys ever looking at they give you everything. I've always taken that approach. But I'm just thinking, I'm doing so much good work. I know, but I know this will make a great difference too. He's on the other one. You know?
Sorry, are any of you expecting someone to come and teach? No? No.
That's okay. So let's see.
I'm gonna pull up
Which group is first?
The other one,
Are you ready first? You want to go picture?
So this is like day 3 where I haven't had an issue. Yeah. That add up to one big.
Yeah. Oh, so serious. Like everything that you, so I don't know if you know to me, but the platform is. Yes, you can.
You don't need the database.
No, I don't want to show it.
It would just, they would have to go between tabs. Okay.
So you say, which one would you want to show first, the database or platform? Web form first.
Yeah.
You have the links to the database.
Yes. You could type in, if you type in an entry that's already in the database, you can take them out. Say, okay, now I'm going to press submit. Oh, look, here it is.
Well, it will actually submit.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we do that at presentations all the time. Sometimes live demos just don't work. To simulate the live demo. It should work. Should I go call
I
folks
still
in?
have to switch the hangout. So the first hangout, I need to end the hangout for all CSP. Right? So next door. I'm gonna switch the hangout.